obviously we saw a very interesting game in the difference between the two games that Seattle and Dallas played Friday versus what we saw last night. And I was kind of looking, and there's been 8 of those like back-to-backs where you face the same team twice in a row. And on average, there's almost 20 points fewer in the second game than the first so far. Do you think that's something that, is it easier to defend against a team when you face them a second game in a row that way and make adjustments?
Yeah, look, usually it goes that way, and obviously, with what you just told me, it certainly is showing that way. I suppose, the first game of the season, you're still trying to work out what they're doing and how you can put the best scout together. And but yeah, crazy. I mean, 105 to 103 back to 7. But yeah, Dallas, yeah, they got lucky this game. We've all had that, haven't we, this year? It's been the games that are close. But look, there obviously for us, Dallas, a very dangerous team. We know what they're capable of. We had a lead too at the end of the game in Dallas, and they got it back in a heartbeat. So you have to make sure for 40 minutes you're just locked in.
And I guess when you scout them going into a matchup like this, you both have played games since you last faced each other. But I guess, if you want to put a percentage on it, you're welcome to, obviously. But how much do you balance what you did against them in that last game versus kind of what you both have done in that time since?
Yeah, obviously you scout how we played. You want to see how they're scouting our personnel and vice versa, and what worked didn't. But then, making the adjustments. I think we're both better teams from when we played there. Obviously they've added a few players in Sabally and Gray, so that's another 2 players that we have to make sure we're locked in on defending them. But we'll just we'll scout and play. We kind of know, but we watch the Seattle games, and we know it's they're the team that can put 100 points up. But we in the second game, I don't know if that was fatigue or better defense. I'm not quite sure, but they can be dangerous if we're not ready to go.
Next up, we have Jeff Metcalf, Arizona Republic, followed by Doug Feinberg.
Sandy, I found those 2 games interesting too. And there's been so many close games, whether it's a lower scoring game, higher scoring, a lot of overtimes. Is it just that this league is so, there's so much parity and balance that teams just cannot get away from each other, or what do you think is going on there?
I think it's just so much more parity now. Look, I think the new CBA, obviously you saw the movement that happened. I mean, all teams got better. And this is the best players in the world. And, it's some kind of grueling schedules that we have, and sometimes maybe fatigue comes in, or just having a good day. But every game is hard. And that's the beautiful challenge of it. I think that's exciting for the fans, and it's a great challenge for the coaches and teams too, because, every game really does matter. I mean, there's no, you can't underestimate anyone, because then, the result won't go the way that you want it. But yeah, I think there's just, obviously players moved around. Teams' talent is balanced out across the league.
Also, I wanted to ask you a little more on Skylar. She's had such a consistent season, maybe the most consistent season of anyone you've got right now. Just how would you sort of assess where she's at this point of the year?
Look, I think she's doing a really, really great job, and taking a little bit more ownership, obviously, when Dinah went out. I mean, there's more responsibility on her hands. She's facing a lot of aggressive defenses, and I think she's getting used to that and how we can best play against that. But she's made some incredible shots, and that's all the hard work that she did in the off-season, to be quite honest. She's got her legs back under her. But what I love about her, I think her leadership's gotten better. She's a great player at both ends of the floor. Defensively, we put her on usually the best player on that other, and she really, really embraces that. I suppose without Dinah, we have less handlers, so the pressure goes on her a little bit more, but she's handled it. I mean, she's handled it great, but obviously we do need, if we can get that 3rd, 4th scorer going, that will certainly help us as well. But yeah, she's had a great season to date, and hopefully it just keeps going up and up.
All right, next up we have Doug Feinberg with AP, followed by Alex.
Hey, Sandy, great to see you.
Sure.
Just to pick up on Alex's question a little bit, since you do have the Wings back-to-back, and then I think you have 3 in a row against the Sparks after that Liberty game, as a coach, is it fun to have like sort of playoff series in a sense that you play the same team twice in a row or 3 times in a row, that it gets you prepared for the playoffs potentially a little better?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really quite thought about it like that, Doug. But it's basically that's what we're in. We're in a little playoff series during the year now because we're playing teams back to back, and it makes the scouting, and obviously you focus on that one game. Obviously we play tomorrow night, and then we'll be able to scout that one game to prepare for the next one with a little adjustments. So it's not a full scout in that regard. It's just making who does the little adjustments well and executes that on the night. That's what it comes down to. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I mean, we've only had Chicago back to back. But now we've got LA coming back in a 3-game series. We do have a bit of a break before the last game, but I think that's good because, how do you make those adjustments? And that's what it comes down in the playoffs, making those little adjustments to give you the edge.
And my other question is Dee sort of progressing how you'd hope or want? I mean, I guess it's fractured or injured sternum is not as like ankle where, okay, you do certain things. I mean, it's just different, I would think, than any other kind of injury, so to speak.
Yeah, look, she's making progress, to be quite honest. And I suppose, we're making sure that she's feeling good before she starts getting more and more. And she's gradually progressing. Dinah would love to be back on court right now. But, we need to make sure that's healed. And so it's on the right track. So they had really, they're all saying all positive things. And that's me. I'm going to stay positive and hopefully we can get her back for that, June 26th game, a 3rd game against LA.
All right, we do have time for only one more question here. Next up, we have Alex Simon with the next.
Sandy, for Brianna to be at almost 3 blocks a game, I mean, BG is obviously a world-class shot blocker and will go down as one of the best in the league, but Brianna pretty quickly here is emerging at that level, maybe, I don't want to say better than BG, but her equal at least. What does she do in terms of shot blocking that pairs so well with BG, or just what she does on her own?
Yeah, look, you got to love that end of the floor, to be quite honest, and that's what she does. That's how she knows that she can impact this game, and we're trying to, keep developing that offensive side as well too. But she's just has great anticipation. I think to be a shot blocker, you kind of have to know the player that you're playing against, how they kind of play. But her anticipation, the amount of how less it takes to her to get off the floor, and she just reads the place well. So it's all on her. She's, she's a great defender. So that's certainly kind of what we need because there's a lot of great 4 players in this league. Deladon, she has to guard all the best ones, Wilson, and she's got a Sabally coming in. I know she had a tough game in the last one, but very dangerous player. But they're good matchups for her because we have Breezy.
We did have one late addition. We will go one final question here with Danny Thompson, 3-point conversion.
Coach Danny Thompson with a 3-point conversion. Great to see you as always. Skylar has taken her game to a new level, especially in the 4th quarter. She's 2nd in the league in scoring in the 4th quarter. What has been different in Skylar's play in the 4th quarter? Because she seems to be shooting the ball better and distributing better. What's about the 4th quarter, that final 10 minutes for her that you see?
Well, I think, players like Sky, they have this really competitive nature and this strong will to win. I mean, that's what it comes down to. She just doesn't want to lose. She hates losing, and that's, putting the ball in her hands. She has obviously way more responsibilities. We're putting the ball in her hands and she's making the plays. So I've been really, really proud of her. She put a lot of work in the off season. She's adapted well being back the whole full time in the point guard's position. And she's just so versatile. You can see that she's got the mid range. She can get to the rim and she's shooting the 3-ball well. So, we know they're going to put a lot of pressure on her, but she's ready for that.
All right. Thanks for the time, Sandy.
Thanks, guys.